The sun barely kissed the rooftops of their quiet suburban street when Mark stepped into the kitchen to prepare his son Jake's morning insulin. Jake, a spirited 12-year-old with a mischievous smile and bright eyes, sat at the table, humming, a tune and unaware of the tension about to unfold. Mark reached for the vial, only to notice it missing. Panic rose like a tidal wave in his chest. "Jake, where's your insulin?" he asked, voice tight. Jake's face fell, confusion and fear mingling in his expression. A neighbor had already called, breathless and frantic. "Karen, she was in your garage," the neighbor whispered. She dumped your son's insulin down the drain." Mark felt the world tilt. HOA Karen, a woman infamous for micromanaging the neighborhood and terrorizing residents, had crossed a line. No one imagined she could. He clenched his fists, swallowing his anger and fear. This wasn't just HOA overreach. This was dangerous, life-threatening. Mark's mind raced. Call the police? Confront her directly? Protect his son? In the back of his mind, a chilling thought struck. What if Jake had reacted to the missing insulin before they noticed? The stakes were life and death. Without wasting a second, Mark grabbed Jake and rushed to the nearest pharmacy. The boy clutched his stomach, anxiety mixing with fear. On the drive, Mark kept repeating, "It's okay, buddy, we'll fix this." He knew Karen's actions weren't random. She had been hostile toward the family for months. Petty complaints, overstepping rules, snide remarks. But poisoning Jake, even indirectly, marked a dangerous escalation. At the pharmacy, Mark explained the urgency to the pharmacist, securing a replacement vial and dosage equipment. Jake, small hands trembling, nodded silently, absorbing the tension. Meanwhile, Mark contacted the police. He explained the situation calmly but firmly. "She deliberately poured my son's insulin down the drain. This isn't negligence. This is attempted harm." The officer on the other line sounded grim but supportive. "We'll send a unit. Immediately. Stay put and keep your son safe." Mark hung up, staring at Jake. He promised silently he would never allow Karen's cruelty to go unpunished. By the afternoon, the authorities arrived. Mark had documented everything. Surveillance footage of Karen entering the garage, her fingerprints on the insulin vial, and a detailed timeline of her actions. Karen stood outside her house, arms crossed, a look of arrogance on her face. She did not expect the police, the evidence, or Mark's composure. Detective Ramirez approached calmly. "We need your full account," she said to Mark, jotting notes. Every word Mark spoke painted a picture of deliberate recklessness, escalating, HOA tensions to criminal behavior. Karen's neighbors gathered, whispering in shock. Many had endured her petty rules and intimidation tactics, but no one had witnessed actions this dangerous. A hush fell over the street as the gravity of her behavior sank in. Mark's priority remained Jake's safety. The boy sat quietly, gripping his new vial of insulin. He looked up at his father with a mix of fear and admiration. Mark's protective resolve hardened. Karen would face justice. Over the next few days, the story spread throughout the neighborhood and online HOA forums. Legal counsel was retained. Mark wanted to ensure Karen faced the full weight of the law. Court documents described Karen's actions clearly: unauthorized entry, tampering with medication, and reckless endangerment of a minor. While some HOA members tried to defend her as overzealous, the evidence was undeniable. Jake's safety was the priority, and Mark made sure he was shielded from the media attention. The boy's school life continued normally, but the fear lingered in his eyes. Mark reminded him, "You did nothing wrong. You are safe now, and Mommy and I will protect you." Karen, meanwhile, continued to smirk publicly, underestimating the legal process. But every step she took was documented. The house she had used as a stage for her intimidation would now be her courtroom backdrop. The courtroom buzzed with anticipation. Mark and Jake sat together, holding hands. Karen entered, dressed sharply, but her confidence seemed smaller in the face of evidence. The prosecutor outlined her actions, emphasizing the deliberate endangerment of a child. The images of her pouring the insulin, along with expert testimony on the dangers of missed doses, painted a clear narrative. This was not a petty HOA dispute, it was a criminal act. Neighbors and friends provided statements of Karen's pattern of bullying. Every petty complaint, every intimidation tactic added weight to the case. The judge, attentive and solemn, made it clear that the safety of the community, especially minors, was paramount. Mark's heart pounded as he glanced at Jake. His son's eyes, bright and trusting, gave him strength. Today was about accountability and ensuring no other family would face Karen's dangerous behavior. Jake, supported by his father, bravely recounted the morning of the incident. His words were clear and heartfelt. "I trusted my dad and mom to keep me safe, but she tried to hurt me." The courtroom was silent. Even Karen's usual smugness faltered under the weight of a child's innocence speaking truth. Mark testified. With composure, detailing his efforts to protect Jake, the evidence gathered, and the emotional toll of Karen's actions. The prosecutor concluded with a powerful statement. This is not about HOA rules. This is about endangering a child's life. Justice must prevail. The jury listened intently, the gravity of the case sinking in with each word. After several tense days, the jury returned. Karen was found guilty of attempted endangerment and unauthorized tampering with a minor's medication. Relief washed over Mark and Jake. Their lives, once overshadowed by fear, could now begin to heal. Neighbors whispered support as the family exited the courthouse. Jake smiled at his father, gratitude and relief in his eyes. Mark wrapped him in a protective hug, knowing the ordeal had forged an unbreakable bond. The story spread online and through the community as a cautionary tale. HOA disputes can escalate dangerously, but courage, preparedness, and adherence to the law ensure safety and justice. Karen would no longer threaten their family, and for Mark and Jake, the nightmare was finally over.